In my previous video, I set you a few questions looking at the midpoint formula. These were to cover some of the key skills that you have to be able to do and a little bit of problem solving relating to the material. What I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to go over these questions with you, talk you through the solutions and show you how to work them. Quick refresher for you though of the questions. First was find the midpoint of a couple of pairs of points. So the first one was a pair PQ, second one was a pair AB. And the second one was looking at 4 points, which are the vertices of a four-sided shape, so PQRS. I want to calculate the midpoint of PR, the midpoint of QS, and then what can you say about the lines PR and QS? What does that information tell you about them? So, let's have a crack at these. So the first one was find the midpoint of P, which is there, and Q there. Now remember, your midpoint formula, you calculate that by doing x1 plus x2 over 2, so finding the halfway point of the two x's, and y1 plus y2 divided by 2, the halfway point of the y's, essentially the median in both directions. So to get the midpoint of PQ, I have to follow that same set of steps. So if I label this one here as x1, y1, and I label this one here as x2, y2, I can just plug them into the formula. So I get 4 plus 5 over 2, and then 7 plus negative 2 over 2 as well. So 4 plus 5 over 2, so 4 plus 5 is 9, 9 over 2 gives me 4.5, and then 7 plus negative 2 is the same as 7 minus 2, which is 5, and then 5 over 2 gives me 2.5. Again, if I left these as improper fractions and left it as 9 over 2, 5 over 2, that would be perfectly fine as well. If it doesn't ask you for a specific form, they're both acceptable. Now the same with this one, midpoint of AB. Same formula, same set of steps. Label the point, so there's x1, y1, and there's x2, y2. And then I plug them in my formula. So x1 plus x2, so negative 1 plus 7 divided by 2, and then y1 plus y2, 12 plus negative 2 divided by 2. Negative 1 plus 7 is 6, 6 divided by 2 is 3, 12 plus negative 2 is the same as 12 minus 2, 12 minus 2 is 10, 10 divided by 2 is 5. So my midpoint there is 3, 5. Much more straightforward than this, no fractions involved. Calculating the midpoint is fairly straightforward. We can then start to bring in context and other various mathematical properties into the question. So this one here, I've got 4 vertices of a four-sided shape, so P, Q, R, and S. And I've got a couple of things to calculate, and then what can I say about them? What relationship does this tell me? Well, first one, calculate the midpoint of PR. So imagine I want to start by the midpoint of PR, so that's this point here and this point here. So the midpoint of PR, x1 plus x2 over 2, so 6 plus 4 divided by 2, and then negative 3 plus 15 over 2, gives me the y part. So 6 plus 4 is 10, 10 over 2 is 5, negative 3 plus 15 gives me 12, 12 over 2 is 6. So my midpoint of PR is 5,6. Midpoint of QS, so that's involving this one and this one now. So to calculate that one, I do the exact same formula, the only difference is the numbers are slightly different. So x's, so x1 plus x2, 10 plus 0 over 2, y1 plus y2, 7 plus 5 over 2. What that then means is 10 plus 0 is 10, divided by 2 gives me 5, 7 plus 5 is 12, 12 divided by 2 is 6. So I've got 5, 6, so that's actually the same one there. The midpoint of QS is 5,6. What can you say about the lines PR and QS? Well, imagine we set it up to be 4 vertices of a four-sided shape. So there's P, Q, R, and S. Now remember, this is roughly what it looks like. There's my line P to Q, there's my line P to R. Now the midpoint of PR is 5, 6, but the midpoint of QS is also 5, 6. So they both actually have their midpoint at the same point. What that means then is for QS, this portion of the line and this portion of the line are the same, and for PR, this portion and this portion are the same. Now, we don't know what kind of shape it makes because we don't know if these are the same, we don't know if these are different, because we've not done the distance formula on these. If we wanted to do that and figure out the shape itself in a bit more specificity, we could. But what I do know is that for PR, I've split it in half, and for QS, I've split it in half. So what I can say about the lines is that they bisect at the point 5, 6. So regardless of what shape it makes, whether it makes up some sort of a rectangle, some sort of a square or a rhombus, they bisect each other at that point. So that's the property I can say about the lines PR and QS. They bisect each other at the point 5, 6. We need to start thinking outside the box with things like that. So I hope that it went well for you. See you in class for a bit more work.